British supermarkets are not just about shopping. They're full of invisible rules, indirect language, quiet politeness, and there's almost a social choreography that no one ever explains. Welcome to the English Right Now podcast. This English learning podcast aims to teach you at least 10 pieces of related vocabulary. We say at least because it's a real conversation. My name is British English teacher Roy, and joining me is my dear friend Rob. Hello.
Hi, Roy. Looking forward to going shopping with you today.
Are you really?
No. I'll go on my own.
Supermarkets. My goodness. How do you feel about supermarkets?
I guess they're a sort of necessary evil, you could say. I mean, not bad, are they? I mean, they're a convenient place, aren't they, to go shopping rather than have to go around individual shops on the high street. But they kind of, what I find is they kind of suck you in. You know, you think, I'll go to the supermarket to get some milk. And there's so much to buy and so much on offer that you end up coming out with bags of stuff.
And not coming out with the item you went in for in the first place. Going for milk and you end up leaving with an offer on cat food.
Yeah.
Don't even have a cat. Right. I find these places, I find supermarkets a little bit overwhelming, if I'm honest. I do, you know, I think you see a lot of people going in there with purpose, and then about 2 hours later, they're still wandering around. But and
you can get lost in there, can't you? And also, particularly if you haven't got windows, you don't even know what time of day it is, so you become sort of lost in this world. But I mean, here in the UK, with Sport for Choice, we have so many supermarkets and supermarket brands, don't we?
Do you have a favourite?
Well, different supermarkets for different things, really. But my local one is Sainsbury's.
Yeah,
it's the nearest one.
Don't know what the new. We've got some of those local sort of, supermarkets, sort of the smaller version, the high street.
Yeah,
ones.
they're sort of what we call convenience stores, aren't they? They're sort of smaller. They've got the essentials, but not everything. Then you've got your supermarket, and then some places have these huge hypermarkets, which they have food, clothes, household goods, everything, don't they?
Yeah, sometimes it's called superstores, don't they? They are. We've got a few of those, but I tend to spread my shopping around. If I'm honest, I don't really have any preferences. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you're in there and you're wandering around aimlessly looking for milk, and all you can see is baby products, what do you do? Do you ask for direction? Do you ask for things?
Well, very rarely, unless it's something very specific. Then you might say, "Where can I find the sour cream, for example?" And they'll probably say, "Oh, it's on aisle 4 or aisle 5."
Yeah.
You know,
I always ask for things. I think there's this kind of, I don't know. There's this keep calm, carry on spirit that I think is very inefficient in a supermarket. I think they generally move things around to the point where I think they're designed. I mean, you always know where certain things. The bakery is usually at the back, and then the sandwiches and all that at the front. But I often go and say, "Oh, excuse me, where can I find the whatever I'm looking at, the eggs?" And sometimes, even the people in there are like, I'm not sure. Hang on a minute, I'll just check. Or they'll go, they're on aisle 12 or 13, and sometimes I'll say, "Oh, could you show me, please?" Which means, could you come with me? You take me there. Which sometimes I'm like, oh. But this
of course, sometimes you get there sometimes, and it's not there. It's out of stock, isn't it?
Yes.
Basically, run out of that stuff.
Yeah, and then you can say, "Oh, do you have any more of these out the back?" Out the back is in storage, as in not on the shelf. Maybe there's one or two. Do you have any more of these out? I mean, it wouldn't be common for like eggs or something, but 'cause generally they are restocked. I'm talking about like a electrical appliance or something. Where you end up buying a coffee machine at the same time as that milk that you thought was a great idea. You get these kind of, you can say, "Oh, is this on offer? Is this on offer?" These kind of things, because offer means a reduction in price. And we can talk about, there seems to be quite a few prices and offers out there. You know, you get your
Like,
2 for 1s.
yeah,
Which is
buy one, get one free. Yeah.
or BOGOF, as they say, which sounds slightly rude. Buy one, get one free. 2 for 1. On offer, you know, on offer means discounted.
Mm.
We don't normally say, the bread's on sale, do we? Say it's on offer or
On
it's,
offer.
you know,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's
Um,
been the price has been reduced. We say it's a reduced price
yeah,
product. Maybe sometimes because it's out of date and they reduce the
or
price.
going out, going out.
Or going out of
Yeah.
date, yeah, or past its sell-by date, almost. They sell it off
We don't
sell
yeah,
it
we
off
don't
cheap.
know. They don't normally sell food after it's after the
No,
date, do they, in supermarkets?
no,
So
no.
it'd be like the last day and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But we always
And
like a
sometimes
promotion or a special offer, don't we?
yeah.
And sometimes, well, particularly now, you can get lots of special prices, can't you? If you have like a loyalty card. I'm sure you've
Yeah,
got one, Roy.
I've got about 5 of them. I love it. That's because I shop around. I'm not gonna tell you what my favorite loyalty card is because they need to sponsor this video if they want to, me name them. But yeah, it's actually quite good because you can get money back, can't you? You can get coupons and vouchers and all these kind of things to get your money back, and it feels like you're saving even more money, which is quite good. And you know, the Tesco's is a good example because you can get a meal deal, which is we've talked about this how much I love a meal deal, and it's 4.25 at the moment. But if you use your loyalty card, it goes down to 3.85, saves you 40p.
Mm, yeah.
So, and then you
As
can say,
one
"Oh, it's a
as
good
as
deal."
one supermarket says, every little helps.
It's, yeah, and then you can say, "Oh, it's a good deal." One thing that I often see is they show you the prices, but then they'll say X amount per 100 grams or X amount per liter, and that gives you a better idea for comparison.
Yeah.
But it's usually in, sort of small writing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm quite
you go shopping anyway, you've got you might have a trolley, of course, to push around, or you might have a
yeah.
basket if you're not
Oh,
buying
trolley,
more.
very, yeah.
Yeah. And then you buy your essentials, your milk and your bread, and then you might, check out some extra luxury items.
Yeah. And usually if there's another person in there, you can have a little comment, can't you? You can go, bloody hell, everything's gone up, hasn't it? Like, because then everything's in oh my God, have you seen the bread? It's really pricey, which means it's expensive. You know, that's quite standard that people will moan to other shoppers. Bloody hell, the price. What have you seen the bread? You know, they're never usually complimentary, and they should be sometimes, but yeah. Um, but like, you know, you go into the supermarket and I'm gonna grab a few bits of small random items, and it could be your essentials, your bits. I'm gonna grab a few bits, which means I'm gonna get 1 or 2 things, random items. Or if it's something specific, you could say, I'll pick up some milk.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
what do you normally go to? Do you normally do a big shop? So, what is your big shop? What would we mean by a big shop?
Yeah. Well, the big shop is when you buy loads of stuff, like your weekly shop, I suppose.
Yeah.
A week's worth of food, roughly, that you'd need at home. So, yeah, I tend actually, if I'm honest, I tend to get delivery now because the
Do
supermarkets
you?
deliver to home. So you order it all online, and then the
Yeah.
delivery van comes along and brings it to your house. So you don't even have to go to the supermarket.
I really prefer that, but for some reason,
Yeah.
my family tends to end up in supermarkets.
Uh,
Like immediately after we've recorded this podcast, I'm going to go and pick up my dog seemingly only likes chicken and vegetables. Um, so I'm going to go and pick her up some chicken from the supermarket. I could get it delivered because it's only 1 or 2 items, but some supermarkets even do like small deliveries, don't they? I
mm.
don't know if you've got that where you are.
Yeah, they do. They do. And the other thing is, if you don't want it delivered to your house, they'll pick the stuff off the shelves, put
Mm,
it in a basket, and then you can pick it up from the back door. What they call click and collect, don't they?
click and collect, yeah. And that the one thing as well is, you know, usually if it's a big delivery, you'll have to book it a couple of days in advance. But like I say, you've got this service where I live where you can get it delivered within 30 minutes to an hour.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so like if you're having a dinner party that we've talked about previously, get, you know, oh God, I'm running out of cheese, I'm running out of wine. Oh goodness. You get it delivered to your door within 30 minutes, seamless.
Mm.
But
But
you know,
there you are missing out on the fun, aren't you, of going to the supermarket?
all that fun. But But quite commonly, you know, we'll go there and I'll say, "Oh, we need to stock up on cheese," or not usually cheese, but tinned goods, which
Mm.
means get a things. You know, and then when you're asking for help, I think it's always wise to say, "Sorry, do you work? Sorry, do you work here?" Because there's
Yes,
nothing
well,
worse than accosting a
yes,
random person. "Excuse me, can you tell me where the eggs are?" And they turn around, it's not a uniform, it's just the same color shirt.
I know. I've done that before. I mean, one of the supermarket chains, Asda, they wear green, like fleece tops,
Yeah.
and I went in once and I spoke to somebody who was wearing a green fleece top, but they weren't working there. That was just their normal clothes.
What I find funny, I've done it a few times, but around Christmas, a lot of the workers, it's quite confusing actually. They wear Christmas jumpers.
Mm.
In some supermarkets where I live, they wear Christmas jumpers. So you can't really tell sometimes unless the badge is there. You can't really tell who's a worker and who's who's a random member of the public wearing a Christmas jumper. And I have asked people, and the worst thing is sometimes they help you. You go, "Oh, excuse me, can you tell me where the eggs?" "Yeah, yeah, they're on aisle 12. Do you want me to show you?" And then you
Yeah.
go there and you suddenly realize, "Oh my god, they're pushing a trolley as well." And you're like, "Oh my god."
But
But
I've
we
done that as well. I like helping people, and because my first ever job as a teenager was working in a supermarket,
was it?
I used to stock the shelves, and then I got promoted to checkouts, where I'd sit on the till and take the money. And so, you know, when people ask me now, I guess it's just in my nature. If they want to know where
Yeah.
the cheese is, I shall say, it's over here. Let me show you."
Nature. That instinct has never left you from your
Mm.
childhood. The hunting instinct around supermarkets. But you quite often get a frozen section, a fresh section, don't you? Get the tin section, the alcohol section. These so they call them sections, you know, tinned goods, and things like that. And then you know, you can ask them, could you help me find this? Or, you know, do you have this in a small is there a smaller version, you know, or do you do
Mm.
a multi-pack? And usually when we're asking even a worker, we'll say, "Oh, sorry, could you tell me blah 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 blah."
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I've got two tips for you. One thing not to do is
Oh, go on.
haggle. You can't haggle on prices in the
Yeah,
supermarket. Yes. I'll you
I'll
know
give you a
I'll gi
tenner. I'll give you a
I'll
tenner and
give you a
take it or
tenner.
leave it.
The prices are fixed. But the other
Yeah.
useful thing is, if you go to a supermarket in the UK, is to take your own shopping bags, because
Yes.
cut down on waste, of course, but they also supermarkets charge you for bags, don't
Yeah.
they?
How much is it now? 30p a bag.
Something like that, yeah. Which is supposed to
Yeah.
go to a good cause or go back to government revenue, isn't it? But I'm not sure what happens to that money.
I liked your separation there. A good cause or government revenue.
Taxation.
Yeah. I don't know where it goes, but all I know is I don't like paying it. But I think if it did go to charity, I'd probably be more
Mm,
that might not that might incentivize me more than anything, if I'm honest.
yeah. But I mean, to be fair, it has cut down on the number of,
Yeah.
plastic bags flying around and rubbish and stuff like that. If you take your
What
own bags, reuse your
what
bags.
I love it when people forget bags. They forget to bring bags, but they refuse to buy a bag. So they end up kind of almost juggling their food.
Oh
Like
yeah, well, yeah.
they've got little bits in their coats and like a baguette down here and oh dear, and it's all over everywhere, isn't it? Like
Mm.
tinned goods in their pockets, the trousers are falling down because of all this food. But they're like, "No, I'm not gonna pay for a bag." Um,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mentioned the checkouts, by the way, when I used to work on the checkouts, the old-fashioned
yeah,
checkout, where
the
you type in the
till,
numbers, the till,
yeah.
the till. Uh, Obviously, well, I don't know where you stand on the automatic checkouts that we have now.
Rob, you know me well enough to know that I hate them.
Yeah, you like
I like
conversation, don't you?
people. Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, you kind of I feel like almost like you're robbing somebody of a job almost. You're stealing the you know, it's like I don't know. I don't first of all, these automated systems, they drive me insane at the best of times. Um, you know, and I used to sort of complain you're kind of doing the job without getting paid for it.
Mm.
I
Mm.
don't mind the handguns as you go round. You got those boop, 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 the hand
Yeah,
scanners, sorry.
yeah.
Um, I don't mind those hand scanners as you go around.
Yes, don't take a
They're
handgun around
fine.
the supermarket.
No, no. But yeah, I don't mind those hand scanners as you go around and you scan as you go. But it's when you get to the end and you've got a huge trolley and then you're expected to beep it
Yeah,
yourself. And the thing is, you have to beep and put it down, pick it up, beep, put it down. It's just really laboured, and
Mm.
so often it doesn't bloody work, and I have to get somebody to help me anyway.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I always
like,
find that.
yeah,
There's always one item that, sets that doesn't work, sets the alarm off, and somebody has to come and help you. But
yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
right, you have to scan stuff yourself, pack it, scan it, pack it, do the whole job yourself. Where's the
Put it,
fun in that?
and if you haven't brought bags and you don't want to use bags, as often we don't, because when we forget, the boot of the car is right next to the front door anyway, so we just bring bags out and put it in. If we forget, you have to like beep, put it down, and then at the end you have to pick it all up and put it back in. It's just really laboured.
Yeah.
And I just find it really boring. Then you have to get people to check if you buy wine and stuff like this. So I'd sooner just go to a person anyway. And the
Mm.
worst thing is, as well, if you pay for all that stuff and God forbid you miss something or something like that, you could get into real trouble. So in some ways, it's
Mm.
it's putting the onus of responsibility, the onus back on the shop to do the scanning. Because obviously,
Yeah.
you wouldn't take anything, but if you accidentally, your kid put something in it.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know. I
yeah,
mean, I don't like them either, but a majority of supermarkets and a majority of the checkouts in the supermarkets are these automated ones. You still have a few people, don't you, at the tills? But then because
yeah.
there are a few people, you have to queue up, don't you?
Yeah, it feels like the last of the bus conductors. You don't really get bus conductors anymore. They've gone, and it feels like the last people. I will still serve people on a till. It feels like they're going. But I quite like the till. So I always go
Mm.
to a person. And they, you beep, beep, and you can have a little small talk chat, can't you? You can have a little, oh,
Yeah.
how's life? Oh. And
Yeah.
they're usually like, oh, no, I'm here till 10. Ooh. Um, and at the end, they ask you, are you paying by cash or card? Or they just simply say cash or card
Mm.
to ask how you're paying. Is it going to be with money or is it going to be a card? Tap your phone. And they
Yeah.
will ask you, would you like a bag?
Yeah. But they'll
Which
charge
is,
you for it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And at the end of the transaction, they'll say, that'll be, and then the amount. So that'll be £12.40, please. That'll be, that's the total price. That'll be £15.70. That'll be £127, the inflation.
Mm.
And then at the end, they'll ask you if you'd like a receipt. Do you take your receipt?
Always take my receipt in case there's something wrong or something doesn't taste right. It's gone off, for
Yeah.
example,
Gone off
or
means,
yeah, or broken. It could be broken, for example. Eggs might be broken in the box. So you want a receipt. And also in case the security guy stops you at the door and goes,
yeah.
have you paid for that? And I go, I've got the receipt.
Gone off basically means the food is no longer edible. You can't eat it. It's no longer, right? And
Yeah.
you can still walk around those typical phrases we've talked about. Like still just having a look, having a look. I think a couple of things just to mention. As you leave, you should be polite and say, "Oh, thanks, cheers, thank you very much, lovely, thank you, cheers." Is just an informal thanks. And the queue is so important, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Don't jump the
Yeah.
queue.
If there is a queue of people, you're not sure if it's queuing for one place or the other, you should ask, sorry, are you in the queue? Just to check. But if you do
Mm.
cut in front, you're going to get this look, aren't you? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you should always say, sorry, were you next?
Mm. Indeed.
This morning I went to buy a few things, and I noticed I was buying about 5 or 6 items, and I noticed the guy behind me. We kind of arrived in the queue at roughly the same time. I sort of was a little bit in front. He was only buying one thing. So I said, "Oh, are you only buying that?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah." I was like, you go ahead. You go in front." I think that's a nice thing to do. If somebody's only buying
Yeah.
one thing and you're getting a bloody, you know, weekly shop, let them
Yeah.
go in front, for God's sake. Ask them, are you only getting that? You
Yeah.
should clarify, because if they go, "Oh, do you want to go in front?" and then they bring in a whole trolley as well, you're like, "Oh." But
Yeah.
that's
You're
really
right.
polite, isn't it?
But, I mean, it's fair to say, I think supermarkets are fairly calm, friendly places. There aren't many fights breaking out or stuff like that. There's a very
No.
calm environment. They might have the supermarket radio playing with a bit of music as well as you go around shopping.
Yeah, they do. And that's another thing. They will ask you if you have your loyalty card, your specific
Mm.
loyalty
Yeah.
card. I think it's always quite good to sign up for them, because you usually get your discounted, especially if you live here, your discounted points, your discounted prices, sorry. You get your points and things like that. So it can
Yeah.
really save a little bit on your shopping and sometimes bring it down to a more normal price, I would say.
Yes, yes.
Not the inflated, unnatural price it is.
No, well, we know shopping's not, well, nothing's cheap at the moment, but I just mentioned a few supermarket brands, shall I? So we mentioned Tesco,
Go on.
Sainsbury's, Asda. The posh one is Waitrose, isn't it?
Yes.
And then
And Marks and Spencer's. Don't forget Marks and Spencer's.
Spencer's have good food at a price.
Yep.
And then we have Lidl and Aldi. They're the main ones I can think of. Any more?
Lidl and Aldi, they're the budget ones, aren't they? Iceland, don't forget Iceland, which is, I mean, it sounds like it's all frozen stuff, but there's a lot of other stuff in there as well. But yeah, you've got your Waitrose, your Lidl, your Aldi, your Sainsbury's, your Tesco's. Yeah,
the main ones.
That's them, isn't it?
Yeah,
Morrison's.
Morrison's.
God, no, how could you forget Morrison's and Co-op?
Oh, the Co-op, of course, as well. Yes, see, we've got loads to choose from, and there are some local versions as well, aren't there? So yeah,
after this video,
you're never far from a supermarket.
After this video, you're going to have to do your first internet apology video, Rob. It'll be specially sponsored with you going, I previously said these were the supermarkets of the UK. However, I have neglected the kind workers of. But it's tough, isn't it? There's so many options. But where I live, we don't have certain supermarkets. We've only got one Asda, one big Tesco, as we say, one Sainsbury's, I think. We've got a couple of Aldis. I think a third Aldi is coming, or a fourth even soon. I think we've got a couple of Morrisons maybe. But yeah, it's quite good. But yeah, so I think the etiquette is go in there. I would always take a shopping list, although usually that goes out the window. In other words, you forget it. Ask when you need things, but be polite. Sorry, do you work here? Could you tell me where the blah 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 is? Oh, could you show me, please? I'm so sorry. It's about you being unable to do something. Try and find your own way. Get a trolley. Do you know the American word for trolley?
No.
Cart. They call it a shopping cart. We call it a trolley. That's the one with wheels. And then, go through the supermarket. Then, you can do self-service, but maybe head for the tills and then, take your own bags. I think that's a very good piece of advice from you, Rob. And always be mindful of the queue etiquette. We've done a whole lesson on the queue, haven't we?
We have. Very important thing. Very important.
Put a link down below. That's how important it is. We've done a whole podcast. It's not a 3-hour podcast, but it could have been on queuing. But if you want to support this podcast, you could always buy a cup of tea for myself or for Rob down in the description below. But for me today, I just want to say happy shopping, Rob. Thank you to all the wonderful people who've listened today. But thank you very much, Rob, for joining me today. And I hope you enjoy your next trip to the supermarket.
Thank you. I'll check out now, shall I?
Oh, no. Oh, no. You're definitely a father with that dad joke. Thank you very much, Rob. I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.